right. So we're going to call the meeting to order. Apologies for starting a little bit late. We do have a couple of additions. We do have two requests coming forward from the town of Antigonish and the town of Mulgrave for letters of support. So I would ask that we add those. And at this time, if there are any other additions. An in-camera. We have to add an in-camera session.
Oh,
Okay. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. The Deputy Mayor is having an in-camera session just to complete some agenda items that we didn't have time to do before the start of our committee of the whole. So we have three additions. Any other additions this evening? I would ask for a motion to approve the agenda with the three additions.
I so move.
Do you have a second? All those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Agenda is approved. We will deal with our in-camera. Just kind of make that a 9 just before adjournment, and then adjournment will be 10 on the agenda. And when we get to in-camera, we would just, we'll conduct our in-camera up back in the boardroom so that rather than ask folks to leave, we'll just vacate to finish our in-camera upstairs. All right, so we'll start with the presentations, which we have none this evening. Council reports on the assigned committees. We'll start with Councillor Langley.
Your Worship, thank you. I don't have my report with me, but I'll submit it to Melissa for the minutes and for the public.
Fantastic, thank you so much. Are you doing Councillor McCrory's?
I'm on no committees. No council appointed committees.
You looked like why are you looking at me? And just to note for the minutes that Councillor McCrory is absent, so we can call on him to see if he has any committee of the whole updates he would like to submit for council. So we'll move on to Councillor Hurt.
I might have the date, some of these dates wrong, but December 2nd, through your worship. We had a combined committee of the whole and council meeting. December 7th, we attended the Christmas parade. December 12th, we had a SAT meeting. December 15th, we had a virtual meeting. December 16th, we met with Honey Batiste. December 17th, I attended the mayor's skate with hot chocolate and cookies. That was important. December 21st, we delivered Christmas dinners. January 6th, we had a council meeting. January 7th, community development meeting. January 13th, the police advisory meeting. January 15th, the Eastern District Planning Committee meeting, and as tonight, January 20th, council meeting.
Thank you very much for your report. Any questions for Paula? Okay, we'll move on to Deputy Mayor Barrett.
November 25th, the audit committee. December 3rd, chaired the Grow Port Hawkesbury committee. December 16th, we met with At Home Housing Association and MP Batiste. January 7th, chaired the Grow Port Hawkesbury committee. January 13th, the Joint Police Advisory Board meeting. January 15th, attended a webinar on offshore wind integration and transmission. January 15th, Sports Wall of Fame committee meeting. January 16th, I met with members of the Grow Port Hawkesbury committee. January 20th, attended Quest Canada workshop today on the community energy and emission plan.
Thank you for your report. Any questions for the Deputy Mayor? Okay, so I submitted my report to council, and I apologize that I did it so close to our meeting date, but you do have it, and I'm happy to answer any questions if you haven't had a chance to review it. But there are a few items that I'd like to review because there could be some action items that could be moved forward to our public meeting. So I just wanted to highlight, and I know the Deputy Mayor did mention the Grow Port Hawkesbury meeting on January 7th. So some of the topics we discussed, were of course meeting ongoing meetings with developers, planning developer event to showcase the town and garner information from developers. That idea is still in progress. Working on planning issues that are counterintuitive to development and what the town can do to change on a policy level to improve current conditions. We discussed opportunities around defense and port development, like the need for bunkering services in the Strait of Canso. We delved into the report from the Marine Renewables Conference, and that is the thing that I'd like to review for benefit of council. So I did, Ian and I brought the report back in late 2025 to council. We submitted it, I believe, November maybe?
That's correct.
Yeah, we submitted it to council in November. We did have a positive response from council, but I just wanted to review some of the recommendations that had come forward from that report. At that time, the thought was to bring that report to Grover Hawkesbury just to get their take on some of the recommendations. So we did do that. So I'm just going to go quickly through the recommendations. So for the first one, obviously, Strait of Canso Offshore Wind Task Force. We are, that's been achieved, and we're, there's no action required for that. What we'd like council to consider is the second recommendation, which was for Port Hawkesbury Marine Renewables Working Group, that there could be merit in striking a small working group that consisted of town staff, councillors, local partners, community members to explore a marine energy strategy for Port Hawkesbury, to assess our port capacity within the town, to identify gaps, and to recommend infrastructure or planning investments with relevant partners. So as it's indicated directly from the report that Ian and I submitted, that this conversation be taken to Grover Hawkesbury, which we did. So the recommendation is that the Grover Hawkesbury Committee would like council to consider striking a working group to achieve, as described in this recommendation, including the creation of a marine energy strategy for Port Hawkesbury, as well as working on progressing the Oceans Innovation Center, which is the third recommendation, which we don't really have to go into detail because that working group essentially, and it's up to council, like it could be a working group that evolves from our Grover Hawkesbury Committee, could be a new group. I mean, we can kind of give it some thought in terms of where it best fits. But I think putting a little bit of time and energy in that recommendation, I think would bear fruit long term. So that's something that I'm asking council to give consideration. And if there's, I guess before we go on to that, I just wanted to open up the floor for any discussion on that recommendation. And maybe we'll start with the Grover Hawkesbury chair.
Yeah, I think if we, trying to utilize our waterfront and our connection with the marine, and just having some input from, we'd be open to having some more advisory input into that. It's to grow.
That's great. Paula?
No, I'm just supportive of any advances on the waterfront in general.
Perfect, thank you. That's Elaine.
Support the recommendations wholeheartedly.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so we'll move on. So Oceans Innovation Center is kind of within the fold of that working committee. So we'll move on then to turn the page. So in terms of engaging with key partners, we feel that we can take this recommendation forward once we have a marine energy strategy. So once we understand what our opportunities are, then we can engage with whatever potential partners that we need to. So that's something that I think there's no action required at this time on that recommendation. In terms of to continue conversations with Indigenous communities, to explore partnerships and collaborative models, such as equity, shared benefits, supply chain participation. So we feel obviously it'd be critical to include Indigenous partnerships in a potential marine energy strategy and other marine related projects and initiatives. And we've already began to reach out to Indigenous neighbors on the potential, for example, around the attraction of Canadian defense build-out investments for the town and the strait. So we have had a preliminary reach out. So it looks like there is a little bit of interest, but we'll continue to pursue that. So there's really no action required on behalf of decision making for council with regard to that. For advocacy for policy support, again, no required action at this time. So it's again, as the above items progress, then we may require action, but at this time, there's no recommendations. And the same for seeking grants or funding opportunities. We feel like these will naturally evolve as we, continue to move forward. So no action at this time. Promoting local awareness of marine renewables in Port Hawkesbury community as above progresses, like public information sessions. Again, this recommendation should be given some consideration as items progress. But under recommendation 9, which is like continue to engage with Marine Renewables Canada conferences to consider membership. It'll be increasingly important that we have members of town council and our staff attend future conferences to ensure our town is represented, and that we continually learn about trends, policy, innovation, and engaging with global leaders in the marine renewable sector. Atlantic Canada is leading the way nationally. The town of Port Hawkesbury might also want to consider membership to the Marine Renewables Canada. So we don't necessarily have a recommendation at that time for the membership. However, we do have 2 opportunities that we can participate in with Marine Renewables Canada. So they have they're putting together a mission to attend Wind Europe 2026 in Madrid. And that would be, I believe, in April. I have the dates in here somewhere, just sorry about that. April 20th to 24th. The mission fee is $2,000 plus HST, plus there probably will be some additional travel costs. The registration deadline is January 31st. So I just wanted to put that forward for consideration for council, because if we do want to have someone, either staff or a member of council attend as part of that MRC mission, I think we have like the next 10 days to consider it. So we don't have to make a decision, but maybe we could do a little research into what the cost is, and then we can kind of circulate that to council prior to January 31st. So I just wanted to give you a heads up that that is an option. And then we have another that I did share with the members of Port Hawkesbury, with our 2 elected members of Port Hawkesbury. This is a Marine Renewables Energy Sector Vision 2050. So it's an event that's being hosted in Ottawa on February 9th. And there is a deadline to RSVP for that event for February 5th. So we have a little bit more time to consider sending a delegate to that. It wouldn't be a huge, I don't think it would be a big commitment in time. It would probably just be a flight to Ottawa and an overnight, and probably 2 overnights, just to be able to, maybe if the timing is right, it could be an overnight, just to be able to attend that and have the town represented at that. So these are 2 considerations. And again, like, you don't necessarily have to make a decision right away, but once we have a little bit more information in terms of cost, we can circulate that to council and figure out whose schedule may be able to accommodate that, either of those trips, so that whether it's staff or an elected official. And yeah, so that's the only action I would ask council to consider, is for option 1 and 2. And in terms of the 10th recommendation around leadership for the strait, Port Hawkesbury can take a leadership role in mobilizing more strait regional representation and interest in the emerging marine renewable sector. Future MRC conferences and other similar opportunities will need a strong cohort of representation from the Strait of Canso, so that we can appropriately market our region. So I just wanted to let council know that both Deputy Mayor Todd Baird and myself are registered for the Smart Energy Conference that's going to be held in Halifax for April 14th and 15th. And luckily, the town of Port Hawkesbury has been asked to present on one of the panels, which is a great opportunity, I think, for us to discuss our energy projects, progress, promote the town. So Todd and I, maybe we can draw the shortest straw to see who might want to do that. I suspect that he's gonna have me do it, and that's okay. But we'll both be there, obviously promoting the town of Port Hawkesbury, making as many connections as we can, and trying to elevate that leadership piece to make sure that we're positioning the town for future development in the renewable energy sector. And lastly, just to note, and thank you, Paula, for mentioning, and Paula and you both mentioned the meeting with Amy Batiste in December. I had missed that in my notes, so thank you. I appreciate you pointing that out. We had a SEPI council meeting on January 14th. January 14th, also earlier, Terry and I both participated in a Cape Breton leadership meeting, which had representation from MPs, MLAs, some mayors and wardens on the call. Had an opportunity to hear from the other orders of government in terms of federal projects, funding envelopes, etc. Some of the MLAs commented on provincial priorities, and each municipality provided an update on current projects and challenges and issues. And January 16th was we met, some of the Grow Port Hawkesbury committee members met to discuss opportunities around the Canada Defence build-out and the potential for the town. And today, both Deputy Mayor Baird and I participated in Quest Canada CEEP implementation workshop. It was exhilarating. That's my report. I'm open to any questions or comments or conversation pieces. Any thoughts on the two opportunities for, do you think that the town should be representing either the Ottawa event or the Wind Europe?
Be interested to see the cost of taxpayer and
Yes.
and weigh that out against the potential benefits. And
Any other thoughts?
No, I concur. Yeah, same.
Okay, so maybe we'll do a little bit of research and circulate that to council to see whether or not it'd be a worthwhile investment of time. Okay. All right. So we'll move on now to CAO reports.
So I'll call upon Brian to present his financial report.
Okay, so just a quick update on the audit process for the year end starting March 31st, 2026. So we're in the pre-planning stages now with Doan Grant Thornton. So I got just happened to come in today, a list to do the preliminary review. We'll gather that data and send it off to the auditor so they can begin their planning process. Assessment notices, those have been mailed by PBSC to property owners as of January 12th. The assessments reported reflect the market value of housing and businesses as of January 1st, 2025, and as the physical state of December 1st, 2025. The appeal process period is open until February 12th. So if you're getting any calls from residents about that, they can be directed to PBSC for any of that. They have a formalized process to go through that. Just remind them that the municipality has no control over assessments. Water utility will be sending out final quarter bills at the end of January. We had an issue in November with the last quarter bills. We're confident that's now been resolved by our service provider. Budget will soon, that process will soon begin. We've already asked staff to begin compiling their list of considerations for the upcoming fiscal year for both capital and operations. And finally, Landry Lake, similar update as in the past, that we continue to meet with the Landry Lake Board and green hydrogen developers, provincial departments and legal advisors. And there will be a water rate application scheduled for filing by the end of January. So we're just waiting on the final report from our consultant to have that filed with the Regulatory and Review Board. Let's see, end of my update.
Any questions?
Oh, sorry, yeah, great.
Good evening, everyone. Through you, your worship, brief report since November. We had got the summer application submitted to Service Canada for our summer school. That's a normal process. It is due in December this year. It's the earliest that they've asked for that. Last number of years, it's been February, March, but they bumped back. So I'm hoping that maybe we'll hear a little earlier that what our reply will be, what we'll have for summer workforce for students. And certainly update council as I find it. We've had another successful Christmas season here at the Civic Center and around town. Another nice parade. Just want to thank all the staff and volunteers that put that together. I know it takes a lot. People see a nice parade, but there's a lot that goes on to make that happen for the residents, and just like to thank the different departments right across the board that put that together. So it's always nice. And we have our sensory Santa, and we even, we continue with our sensory section of our parade route. So to being close to all of our residents. That's really nice. It doesn't happen in a lot of places, but it happens here. We had a busy winter or holiday season at the Civic Center. The ice usage was up this year. We do a reduced rate for that holiday season, those 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and it really helps. I think bring on some extra ice rentals. There's people around for the winter, and we have our Boxing Day family skates that are always popular, and yeah, it's nice that families come out and get together and use the facilities. Pools are running really well since our upgrades in the last year or so. Normal operations of the pool, nothing to report there. On the mechanical side, parks and fields, as you know, we're closed, but works continuing on the soccer, baseball, soccer clubhouse. We started that last month, and we're working on the inside of that for the next few weeks to get that done. And once the weather allows us, we'll have that completed in the spring. We did manage to get some paving done before the plants closed. The AP section that was added to the ball field section, connecting the soccer field, that's been completed. The hard surface, asphalt surface with an accessible viewing area, so people can get to our fields from our sidewalks on Reynolds Street and maneuver to either the baseball field or the soccer field and have a safe viewing area to watch either field. So really good that way. We didn't have enough time to get the parking lot paved, but that's planned for early spring, so unless we get things rolling on the pavement side again. With the fire hall, the efficiency upgrades began back in December. The insulation, as you know, is blowing into the ceiling space, and we're in the final stages of getting the mechanical systems on site for install for the heating and cooling upgrades to that building. We've had good support from Efficiency Nova Scotia on that project. We've been working with them throughout the whole thing. They've been patiently helping us along, so that should be noted. We continue to support the food bank. They're busier than ever, as we all know. We do what we can, whatever job we can do to help out the food bank. The airport, we're still dealing with the asphalt deficiencies. With the electrical consultation that was taking place, we do have a change of a consultant. There was some staffing changes at Strum. They were awarded the project initially, and there's some staffing changes. And they didn't have the staff to complete the job, so we've turned it over, handed it over to Roy and Annie Ganesh. They have the staff to come on and complete that electrical work to give us an idea of what's going on. Some of that equipment is original to the airport. And with their idea advisory committee, we had some of our group took a tour of around town of everything we've done in the last number of years, and you know, most recently what we've done at the Randall Green and places like that. But we went to each spot that's had a look at what's for parking stalls and transfer aisles, some hard surfaces at the viewing area at Randall Green, and just small stuff, but it's not the small stuff all adds up to be big stuff, and some major upgrades at the sites that are listed there. So we'll continue moving forward. We have a meeting, our monthly meeting is next Monday. We've been bounced around through snowstorms the last
Monday snowstorm.
3 weeks,
like,
so
it's
yeah.
crazy.
So we'll carry on our good work with the idea committee. That's the report, and we'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thanks, Gordy. Any questions for Gordy? Excellent. Who's next?
We'll call upon Michelle. Michelle's online. She'll lead us through her. Michelle.
Good evening, everyone. Through your worship, I'll deliver my brief report from the Recreation Department. Starting with the activities over the holidays, we have, as Gordy mentioned, we had an incredibly busy holiday season, hosting our sensory friendly Santa event, the 6th annual, and we were able to make adjustments to lighting, sound, and scheduling in order to create a calm and sensory safe environment. The event successfully served 26 children and families and received overwhelmingly positive feedback from the community for its accessibility. So always very proud of that event. And a huge thanks to Corrine, Catherine, and Joe, who really make that event what it is and keep improving it every single year. Next, the 14th annual Christmas parade took place on Sunday, December 7th. Thank you to all of you who came out that evening. It's just always such a fun night to, I'll put my quotations up, work. It was our biggest parade yet. So I can officially say that now, with over 40 entries. So really, really strong participation from local business and community groups. Important to note that safety was carefully carried out by the RCMP, the Port Hawkesbury Fire Department, the public works staff, and the SARIC students who really made sure that this event was successful, and it was a beautiful, beautiful night. So really want to send a special thank you out to all the other departments and volunteer groups who took part in that. The 10th annual First Night celebration was held on New Year's Eve. Very, very well attended. I feel like it keeps getting bigger and bigger every year. And it attracts numerous young families, and they enjoyed skating, bouncy houses, games, cookie decorating, dance party, and fireworks. So it's always a fantastic time for young families. Registration just opened for our winter programming flyer. I left a hard copy for everyone on your table, but I believe there's also a copy in your package. And we hosted 3 tournaments so far over the last month, 2 in December, the U15A and U15AA Coastal Clash tournaments. And just most recently, the U13 AAA Billy Joe Memorial Tournament, all very, very successful, and really a beautiful tribute to Billy Joe in the opening ceremonies. So thank you to all of you who took part in that. It was quite nice. And then this weekend coming up, we've got the Tiger Mackey. That's always a great weekend with lots of hustle and bustle around the Civic Center. And then next weekend, another tournament, the U13A Coastal Clash. So we're expecting lots of action and lots of great hockey over the next few weekends as well. As mentioned before, the Sports Wall of Fame induction ceremony was held on November 22nd. It was the biggest one yet, the most attended ceremony to date, with about 80 people coming out to pay tribute to our recipients. Christmas shows. We hosted 3 sold out Christmas shows over the holiday season. So that's always a great kickoff to our Christmas spirit. And thank you to all the staff who helped out with that. Upcoming shows, we've got Matt Minglewood Band coming on February 20th. Jimmy Rankin Songwriter Circle on March 7th. He'll be joined by Catherine McClellan and JP Cormier. And of course, we're ramping up for Granville Green now. Save those dates, July 5th to August 9th. And marketing and media, our page followers keep going up, creeping up every month. So from 6,419 to 6,532 since last month. And just one little note that wasn't in my report. I will be sitting as the town representative on the intermunicipal working group for the Inverness County Asylum Commemoration Project. So Terry's asked me to sit on that as a representative for the town. And that is my report. Happy to take questions.
Thanks, Michelle. Any questions for Michelle? It was very thorough.
Thank you.
And Sajid's going to come up and talk about engineering and public works.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to share the Engineering and Public Works update for the month of January 2026. First, an update on the new Public Works building. As we all know, construction of the building has now been completed, including all major electrical, mechanical, and finishing work. Public Works staff officially moved in and started operating from the new facility on December 1st, 2025. The building is now fully occupied and supporting our day-to-day public works operation. We are currently working through a few minor adjustments and setup items for the part of normal use. Also, a big building sign has been ordered. Next is the water system upgrade projects, including the district water tank. Construction of the new water tank and the water control buildings at the street and McDonald Street has been completed. The final time at the McDonald Street valve chamber was completed on December 8th. And the update system is now online and operating. A new project update is regarding the Spruce Street sewer extension. The town has hired Trump Consulting to complete the detailed design and tender package for a 260-meter sanitary sewer extension along Spruce Street. Design work is ongoing, including a review of record drawings, confirming the sewer service boundaries, completing capacity analysis, and collecting topographic survey information. This project is funded through the GRID program. The estimated cost is around $615,000, and the program covers 50% of the project cost. We expect the design and tender documents to be completed by the month of April. Next is an update on the Clean Leadership Summer Intern program. The town submitted an application for an Indian position for the Engineering and Public Works Department. The application has been received and is currently under review, and we expect to hear the results in early February 2026. The program has been successful for our department in the previous years. The intern helps support our work during summer months. A small update on municipal service study. Mr. Jason might give more information on that. The town of Port Hawkesbury, in partnership with the municipality of the County of Inverness, has issued an RFP to hire a consultant. The study will review the condition and capacity of our water and wastewater system, support assets management planning, complete system modeling, and provide recommendation for future improvements to support and growth development. The deadline of the RFP submissions is January 29th. And the public works activity from November 15 to January 14 roughly. During this reporting period, public work crew will receive responding to winter conditions and completing regular operational work across town. The activities included winter operations including snow clearing, salting, sanding, and sidewalk clearing. We had few water main breaks. This includes Ryan Roads, Straight View Street, Embury Street, and one at the Macquarie Drive. 5-floor testing near Canadian Tire on Thursday to support the Canadian Tire expansion project. Our crew supported this 5-floor test. And finally, a school street light audit was completed across the town. Any lights that were not working were reported to Nova Scotia Power. We only found a small number of lights this year, and Nova Scotia Power typically takes after 60 days to complete the repair. Lastly, a quick fleet update. The town's new tandem truck was delivered on December 19, 2025, and it is now in service supporting our public works operations, including winter maintenance and other municipal works as needed. That's my report.
Thank you for your report. Any questions for section?
Thank you.
Extension.
Any other?
That's it.
Thank you, Terry. Okay, we'll move on to other business. In your agenda packages, there was a request from the Richmond Boxing Club. Our CEO is just going to give us some details on that and perhaps some recommendations for next steps.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. We have a request from the Richmond Boxing Club to reduce the rental cost for a boxing event that will happen in June. And I think that date is moving a bit in conversations with Michelle. There's no request for an amount. It's asking for consideration. They provided a budget for the event as well. What I'd ask council, this event will not take place for a few months. I'd like to have a discussion with have more discussion with the club, just to look at what's appropriate, what could be considered for a reduction, and just maybe some of the challenges for the club and why they've put forward their request.
Okay, is everybody comfortable with the CEO doing a little bit more research?
Absolutely.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Any questions? Okay, we'll move on to PBSC assessment and comparison. And over to you, Brian.
So I have 2 items here for council. These are just for information purposes. So in your package, Melissa would have included the municipal assessment profile for town of Port Hawkesbury. So I just consolidated kind of like all that information into one slide for you, just to compare what our assessment was last year versus this year. So year over year residential assessment, we gained $13 million in assessment. That's a 7% increase in growth. Provincially, that was 7.5. So across the province, it was about 7.5. We're 7, so we're slightly lagging the rest of the province. A note on that as well is that all the capped properties, while the assessment can grow, they limit the cap. This year, that amount was 2.6%. In 2025, it was 1.5%. So due to higher inflation, that number was a little bit higher. On the commercial side, we gained 4.5 million. which is an increase of 7.3%, which is higher than our commercial growth last year. Provincially, that was 6.7%. So we're ahead of the province on commercial growth. And finally, resource up there is a rather small number. So this is unserviced land, usually just woodland, unoccupied. We did have a dip this year at 3.7%. On the following 3 slides, I gave a 10-year trend graph. We can just roll into those. So on the residential assessment, you can see from 2017 to 2021 on the residential side, it was pretty stagnant for assessment growth. But you can see starting in the past 3 years, we've seen a growing trend in increase in assessment. This is the quote unquote COVID effect, where we've had greater turnover of properties through sales and selling at a higher value, as well as some development in the town. So it's trending in the right direction for us after several years of really no growth, pretty stagnant, which was typical for towns. Next slide is just an illustration of commercial. Again, not a whole lot of growth from 2017 to 2020. In fact, there was actually a retraction in value. Starting in 2023 to this current assessment, we've actually had some good growth on the commercial side, which is very positive for the town. And the final slide was just the resource. This has fluctuated up and down. There wouldn't be a whole lot of value change, although it looks high. It's actually pretty insignificant in the change in value over the last 10 years. It seems to bounce up and down. We've almost recovered back to 2017-18. Some of that can actually be attributed to land being disposed of by the town or by other owners in the town. So it may have moved from resource to residential or commercial as it's been developed. Any questions on the assessment numbers?
Is an apartment building considered residential or commercial?
It kind of both. So it's not assessed as a residential home would be, but it's taxed as residential. And if you were to have like mixed use, although I don't think we have any mixed use in town, then it would be a split. Yeah, so it's taxed residential, but assessed as it's a commercial operation.
Good question. Questions?
Sure.
Eric, did you have something?
No. I'm too eager on the slide.
That's okay.
That's why,
Jump ahead.
yeah.
Uh,
Municipal financial indicators.
He's
So-
taking your slides away, so
That's okay.
you gotta be quick.
I'll keep it brief. So over the past couple of meetings, we've heard talk of the release of the report of the municipal financial indicators. After reporting financials, municipal affairs combines all of that data, creates a report, sends it to the municipality. You've got the report as part of your package. It's a pretty fulsome report on basically the financial state of the municipality, including population trends. Let me just click to the other slide. It gets summarized into what they call, or what municipal affairs calls the house. Keep in mind, this is data from 2 years ago. So there's always a lag in us getting this.
Yeah.
We recently met with the acting director of municipal affairs, and they have now decided, rather than hold these reports and release them all at once, that as municipalities get the reporting in, they'll release these a little bit quicker. So starting this year, we should start to see these roll in a little bit sooner, so we get a quicker update. I just want to put up there and highlight that we're in all green except for 2 items, which is the undepreciated assets are slightly under their indicator of what they would consider low risk. Low risk on underdepreciated assets would be 50%. That's a 10,000 foot view of assets. So essentially it's saying a little over half of our assets are through their useful life. I do have a comparator slide coming up after this with good news. And the other item on the base FCIs, which they consider the real barometer of a municipality's health. We have 2 greens and a yellow. The yellow that we have is a 3-year change in tax base. That's calculated by looking at a 3-year change in our assessment versus a 3-year change in CPI. Keep in mind that that 3-year change in assessment actually goes back to using assessment data as far back as 2022. So there's a 2-year lag in that number. We were actually just slightly off for 2024. We were at 13.5%. The CPI number for that 3-year period was 16.5%. So we're right on the cusp. Any questions on this particular layout from 23-24?
And that was an improvement from the previous report.
Previous, yeah. Drum roll.
And the good news.
So these are the projected ones for 25, 20s. They're sorry. There's a mistake on that slide. It should be 24, 25. So the last fiscal year we had just closed out, based on the preliminary numbers, we are now green in all categories. So strong FCIs. So we're low risk in all categories of FCIs as of the end of the fiscal year 2025.
How do we fare out in comparison to other municipalities our size?
So in that report, there is a breakdown of that. I think within towns, out of 21 towns, 7 of them had yellow indicators. They don't say how many were yellow, but we'll now be one of the towns that are fully green. I know from a couple of years ago, there was only 1 town in all of the province that had full green. So
Now,
in general, we're all improving,
Yeah.
but more importantly, we're improving. So the big jump there is the 3-year change in the tax base, what they consider the, you know, the base structure of this. We've exceeded that, which is great. And also we've now, with all of the investment that we put into infrastructure over the past couple of years, our undepreciated assets are now above the threshold for moderate risk and into the low risk. So, and that number will only improve going forward with the addition of improvements in our water systems, as well as the public works building and the addition of new fleet. So positive news all around. And as you look at the indicators, pretty well every single one of them has improved in a positive way. The only item that has slightly slipped was the, I believe it was a reserve number. Sorry, no, it was reliance on a single business or institution, went up by 0.1%. So, and at 6.6%, we're not even close to being anywhere near what they would consider at risk. So, information I have on that.
Any questions?
Just a comment, it's good information to have prior to budget planning time deliberations. And it's nice to see the 24-25 information to supplement this. Councillor Barrett mentioned one area of improvement from the 22-23. Is there any areas where 23-24 went down compared, or was it?
I'd have to go back and look at that. I don't have that information.
That's okay.
Off the top of my head.
That's fine.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Ray. All right, so planning advisory committee appointment.
Yes, your worship, would like council to consider an appointment to the planning advisory committee. So back in earlier this year, we took forward a list of committee members for approval. And on the planning advisory committee, we have actually 2 people who are no longer with the committee. So Carly Appleton, who is our representative from the Cape Breton Partnership, will be replaced with our new EDO. But we need another community member to replace Janet Wills, and we have Maris Freemanis has agreed to volunteer for the to serve on the Planning Advisory Committee. So there's an email from Maris, I believe was included in your package. And it would be our recommendation that the town of Roxbury approve the appointment of Maris Freemanis to the Planning Advisory Committee.
Is everybody comfortable with that motion going forward? Thank you, Terry. Any questions for Terry on that, or we'll move on? Okay, we have the street bridges.
Jason is here and he's closest to this file, so I'm going to ask him to come forward and talk about Granville Street bridges.
Thank you, Terry, through your worship. Council. Just provide you with an update since our last discussion on progress towards the Granville Street Bridge Repair Project. So currently, staff have completed our review of the repair design and tender package that WSP has prepared on our behalf. We feel this is ready. It's a sound approach. It addresses the critical issues, the critical structural issues with the bridge. Additionally, we've engaged WSP's environmental team to assist with an application for a water course alteration permit from Nova Scotia Environment and Climate Change. This permit is a requirement. So the nature of the work that has to happen with that bridge there would mean that there's going to be some construction activities that would have to happen within the water course line. And it is a tidal area as well. So it's critical that we have the permitting in place for this, and it's a responsibility of ours to undertake this, not the contractor or the consultant. WSP has begun the preparation work for the permit application, and we have they're working on scheduling a consultation meeting with the regulators. So the permit goes through environment and climate change. DFO is consulted as part of that process. So as you can see from the pictures on the side, just quick screen caps of the drawing set, which is pretty good work from the WSP and complete through. Next slide. Just a bit of a summary on some of the repairs that are included. So as you know, the main issue was that caused us to want to take the action in the way of public safety is to replace the damaged pier cap on the bridge. So that work is obviously included. Additionally to that, we recognize that there's a required repair of damaged timber pile member. That's included as well. You can see the detail on the lower left-hand side there, which shows, although it's really difficult to see from this view, the approach for addressing that. So pretty happy with that methodology from WSP. There's going to be replacement of existing pile bracing, and you can see a lot of those members outlined in the sketch up above the text on the slide. So quite a lot of pile bracing is in not the best shape or missing. So all of those issues will be addressed as well. There's going to be installation of additional bracing from girders to the piles, which you can see in the upper left-hand corner, some of those members. And there's going to be repair and infill of the west abutment to address any undermining that we've observed on that lake. And additionally, any fasteners and steel plating that needs to be replaced, that's observed from the consultant and contractor, and we'll address those issues as well. So it's a comprehensive approach designed to add additional asset life to this bridge for short. Not like a 20-year extension of life, but it's going to be able to put this bridge back in service. Next slide, please. Just a quick point on our traffic control and signage plan. So staff are routinely monitoring the traffic control and signage plan that's installed to ensure that the equipment is functioning. We're reviewing those large signs daily to make sure that the lights are flashing. We're making sure that our signs are still in place. It's an extremely windy corridor where we had to install these signs. We've taken a lot of measures to ensure that they stay in place, but you never know. So that's a constant focus of our team. The traffic control and signage plan is working well, and this was well thought out. We took our time with it and we executed it well. It's with safety of the of motorists and residents as the primary focus. So, and we have received positive comments from Nova Scotia Public Works on this setup as well. So, we've had the lead design engineer for the province traveling through our community, and Terry and I speak to him on a regular basis, and he had positive comments on our. So, it's nice to get that feedback. Next steps, meet with the regulators, NSCC and DFO on permitting. We expect that to happen within the next 1 to 2 weeks. The submission of the watercourse alteration permit to environment, we hope and expect to have that happen in early February. Once we're clear on our permitting path, which we're hoping is going to be not too much of an arduous lift, we're expecting issuing the tender for the bridge repairs in early to mid February. So if we're confident on a clear permitting approval path, we'll be confident with issuing the tender. So we don't want to issue a tender and to get into that contractual arrangement with a potential contractor without ensuring that we have permitting in place first. Award tender mid-March, and then construction potential for April, May, or June. So there is the potential as well that the regulator may say that it may be advantageous for the contractor and for us that this work be conducted in the dry season. So and that's June through September. That's what they have classified as the dry season for any type of work that happens in watercourses throughout the province. And that's my update. Happy to take any questions and.
Thank you, Jason.
Busy period.
Your worship, through you, thank you for the report, Jason. The construction material there now is creosote treated timbers. Will the timber replacement be creosote, or what's the material that was in the drawings there? I couldn't decipher.
I don't believe it's creosote. I don't think creosote is a product that's used any longer. It is a treated timber. I don't think that's an option for.
Yeah. Okay. And do you have any sense of April, May for? Do you have any sense of completion time? I know it hasn't been awarded yet, but and with that timing, do you anticipate materials necessary to complete it being readily available, or the timber need to be cut, or they gonna? What's the status of that type of project. I know, he's thinking of Pirate Harbor Bridge
Yeah, absolutely.
and, material delays there. So just trying to get a sense of completion.
So great question. We have had those discussions with the consultant. Our consultant does this type of work a lot. And they work with contractors that do this type of work. Excuse me. The majority of the materials that we're calling for this project would be readily available for the most, like the pile bracing, the additional bracing from girders to piles. Those are not those are not members that are extremely large or in odd sizes or lengths. Those are that would be the bulk of the majority of the timber. The biggest piece is the pier cap. So that's a large member, and I honestly don't know if that member is going to be an issue with supply. There are companies in our region that supply these types of materials, and our public works department buys these types of treated timbers on a regular basis as well. Not necessarily for this type of application, but their warehouse is usually well stocked, but Councillor, for the sake of the large pile cap member, that's a long structural timber member, and it's hard to answer that question right now, unfortunately.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah. Just, it was a concern that was brought to me today, just on the pedestrian bridge. And just that it's not salted or cleared. Is that something that,
It was cleared today.
was it? Okay.
Great point. It is used quite often. I've seen people using that route, and we're happy that people are using that route. It's an important connection piece for people to get along to connect with Granville Street and Emery Island. I will have a discussion with the Public Works Foreman just to make sure that staff are taking time to pass through that section of the bridge from Granville to Emery Island with our trackless machine. And we're always applying salt when we're with snow removal operations with that equipment.
Thanks. Any other questions for Jason?
I just have a curiosity.
Yeah.
In terms of the tide, is there berms or anything that's going to be set up? Like, does it have to be dry in there or?
Doesn't necessarily have to be dry. I don't, for this type of work, I don't think so. But when they, like, the regulators would prefer to have the work done when there's the likelihood of the least amount of
Where you're supposed
possible
with the dry season?
disruption to the water course.
And you answered my question. One of my questions was with the timeline, which Ian asked about. And just to reiterate Todd's, I did happen to be driving by there this morning, and there was students going to NSCC when I was driving by with the bus, and I did happen to notice that the walkway was plowed, and I couldn't tell if it was salted, but it was plowed, which I did notice. I did take notice, so I was happy to see that. I actually just thought that was positive.
Terry, did you have anything to add?
No, like most projects, as we get into design, so we had an estimate on design and how long it would take as we get into that, and we start asking more questions and things, more things come forward, such as the NSECC approval and that whole process, how that works. Things seem to drag out a bit, and looking at the best method of repairing this. So there's a number of ways you can do this. And and there's complexities around that broken pile, around how much of that pile cap has to be replaced or in pieces and that kind of thing, and how that all comes together, and what the scope is. But I think we're getting there now, and we'll hopefully be going out to tender fairly shortly on that.
Thank you, Jason. Okay, moving on to agenda item 8, future meetings. We have our next public meeting of council, the first Tuesday of February, which lands on the 3rd, followed by a committee of the whole on the 3rd Tuesday, which falls on the 17th in February. Now we have added in-camera session to our agenda, so I would ask that we, I guess, make our way up to the boardroom to just in the next 2 minutes.
I'm sorry.
Oh, right. Oh, I apologize.
Yeah.
Before we do that, I should have added 9 additions. And then the first, there's 3 additions. So the in-camera being the last. Sorry about that. Okay, so our first one is the Town of Antigonish request letter.
Your worship,
Mhm.
I read that letter. I support the request for support.
Mhm.
I don't see it as the Antigonish hospital, it's the regional hospital, as they say there, which we rely on heavily. And just supportive of their request for assistance.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Ian. Any other thoughts on it?
I agree as well.
Are we comfortable moving that motion forward and preparing a letter for our public meeting? Or how about if council is in agreement, we can ratify the motion in February at our public meeting. In the interim, we can circulate a draft, and if everybody is satisfied with the draft, we can, without delay, send that off to the town meeting. Everybody's in agreement.
I would just also add that because there is delays to the construction progress to get to that project, that emphasizes the importance of a fully staffed physician department at the straight Richmond Hospital.
Mhm.
And when there's single arteries point that could choke and delay getting to the regional hospital, the importance of having that fully staffed. I just wonder if we can emphasize that somehow in this letter.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Melissa, you've made a note of that. Excellent. So Melissa will circulate a draft in the coming days, and hopefully once we get it to, I guess, a draft that everybody's happy with, then I'm happy to sign that, send that off to the town of Antigonish. And are we sending that to the province? Is that the request? Do we know who the recipient should be? Is it the,
Well, request, sorry.
it's to both the MLA of that represents Antigonish, that would be Greg Morrow, and to Jaime Batiste, who is our MP. Those are the 2 recipients that have been recommended.
There's a federal program that could be applicable to.
Right, so there would be actually 2 support letters. One would be to MP Jaime Batiste. The other would be to Minister Greg Morrow, as third context for council. Okay, so I guess if everybody's supportive, we will get those letters drafted, circulate them to council for feedback. And once we're happy with those, we'll make sure that they're sent off, and we can, Melissa, if you can let Mayor Cameron know that council is working on some support letters, so we can ratify the motion at our next public meeting. Okay, the next item is with regard to the town of Mulgrave. They're as per the information that was sent by CAO David Gray. Terry, maybe I don't know if you want to comment on it.
Yeah, I mean, the pavement of what is really a piece of roadway that services, that is the access to Guysborough County on the shore route, is in the ownership of the town of Mulgrave. Improving that is a really onerous burden on that small town. And that, you know, there's very much possibility that roadway will help support industry in Guysborough that we've been working with on the marine side, and land-based wind farms as well. So they're asking for the province to look at funding the upgrade of that road.
So the request would be for the town to send a letter of support to the province, just reiterating, I guess, the plight of the town of Mulgrave in terms of the use of that road and how and industrial development is very much dependent on that. And we certainly understand the plight of roads and the infrastructure deficits we all face, and the challenges of making sure that we're keeping up with our infrastructure. So we understand that plight, and can certainly sympathize with Mulgrave and all the current projects that they have on the go. And you know, they have clearly communicated that even a 50-50 cost share is something that is the financial burden they wouldn't be able to bear at this point. So if council is supportive, we can also draft a letter of support to the province on behalf of the town of Mulgrave, send a draft, circulate that to council for any suggested edits. And if council is satisfied, we get it to a point where council is satisfied, we can send that off on behalf of the town of Mulgrave to support their request, if council is in consensus with that.
Absolutely in consensus with that. I'm supportive of that, just.
Ms. Lord and Deputy Mayor
As well.
here. Okay, we'll move that forward. And now, in camera. Oh, thank you for the reminder. I should take better notes on my additions. Okay, so we will pause the